Hello and welcome to the Mets in the UK podcast. I'm Tracy and I'm joined by having one of those days. Never mind. We'll move on. Joined today by Toria. How you doing, my love?
I am very well, thank you, my darling. How are you?
Chest infection, so apologies to any listeners if you hear any coughs and splutters. Unfortunately, it is me, but I'll be better soon. My Metsies will make me better, I've decided. And to our watchers on YouTube, you'll be able to see we are joined today by the beautiful Keith Raad. How are you doing, my dear?
Good, beautiful. I will take that intro any day of the week, Tracy. Good to see you too.
Yes, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been. It has been. Was it 2 years ago we did that? Right after 2024, there was
It was.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was not
December
much to talk about.
2024.
There's not much
Yeah,
to talk about this December yet, but there's a lot to talk about now for sure.
yeah, definitely. So, speaking of
So
which, I think Toria wants to talk
let's
to you about 2025.
yeah, let's start at the end. And by that I mean the end of 25, which seemed the end of everything at that point. It was so brutal. I think I termed it as inexplicable, disappointing, heartbreaking, brutal. What were your
All of the
feelings? How
above.
did you feel that it was such an anticlimax?
Yeah, I think the last day of the season in Miami against the Marlins, it was like, is it really going to come to this? But by that point, I had felt like a couple weeks and months and going they're losing their way into the playoffs, and you just can't do that. And it went on for far too
Mm.
long. I think the biggest one for me obviously turned out to be the tiebreaker, which was the Mets and the Reds. Cincinnati finished with the same record, but because the Mets went into Cincinnati and lost two of those three games in early September, and they set themselves up for the failure that happened in 25, and it was a slow car crash, train wreck, whatever you want to paint it as. That's what it was. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And it's been a crazy off season, but I kind of liked the quick pivot. It was a bad year. We've had changes, but yeah, it was a shame because it started out as a great year, best record in baseball till June, and unfortunately did not end as great as it started.
Yeah, it was kind of a flip of 24, right? 24, we had a slow start and then kicked on in June, and then 25, we did the reverse and had a great start. And even the lesser optimistic people were getting excited. And then
What does that mean for this year? I don't know what that means for this year. Hopefully something consistent, right? Just something consistent.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
consistency would be lovely instead of, but it's not Metsies without a roller coaster, is it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, Keith, you mentioned the off season. Any thoughts on what happened, the comings, the goings? Any highlights for you in the off season at all?
Yeah, well, so the changes of the people that are not here anymore. Pete Alonso, I mean that one's going to sting. It still stings for a lot of people, and I understand that. Edwin Diaz, it seems more and more each day that he just kind of wanted to be a Dodger, which stings too because the
Mm.
Mets want to be the Dodgers. Everybody wants to be the Dodgers. Jeff McNeil has been around for so long, and then Brandon Nimmo, who's been just the most heartwarming person to deal with, is gone. So it hurts. It's been different going down to Florida spring training and walking into that clubhouse, and Pete's not there, Brandon's not there, Edwin is not there, Jeff's not there. It's strange, but individually, I think if you look at Pete's case and Brandon's case and Edwin's case and Jeff's case, you can make the case that okay, the Mets can move on in a different direction. But the fact that all four of them happened, they all happened at the very beginning of the offseason, with no plan in place, seemingly for us fans. It was strange, but I like it now. I see it. I believe in it. I think a lot of people do. I think opening day, the first few weeks, will be strange not to see Pete. There are a lot of people that are still unhappy about that, but um, I like the difference of what they're trying to build, which is a team that puts the ball in play a little bit more. They'll pull out down on the power lever a little bit, put the ball in play a little bit more, don't strike out as much, and play some good defense. Because as much as we love Pete, he was not great on defense. Jeff McNeil, not so great at second base defense. Brandon Nimmo, not as good as could be defensively. Those truths are hard truths, but they're
Yeah.
truths. And this team moving forward, I think will play better defense, because that's the one thing that David Stearns, who runs the Mets, said that every GM told him at the end of the year, when he called, hey, what do you have on us? And they said, you guys can't really play defense. And when you don't
Yeah.
make the playoffs, those are the changes that you got to make.
Yeah, and I mean, anyone that knows anything about my love of baseball knows that I am a defense girl, and I love small ball. I love just seeing them put the ball in play, construct runs. I mean, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the odd home run. I love to see it, but I enjoy more just a lovely train of balls in play, bring it on. But I love defense in most sports. In fact, most of my favorite players are defensive players. So for me, I'm kind of over here doing a little dance because I'm just really excited by it. I'd be interested to know, what do you think is the biggest loss from the off season, and what do you think is the biggest gain, or who rather?
Yeah, it's a great question, Toria. But the loss is I think the impact that Pete has on the game. I mean, we saw the first Orioles spring training game. Of course, Pete hits a home run, and social media is social media. And so, see, this is what you get when you don't bring Pete back. Pete is a tremendous baseball player. He's a great hitter. The Mets knew that, but they were constructing themselves to say, are we going to live with 5 years of Pete or 3 years of Bo Bichette? What's the smart business idea? And smart business and emotional heart wringing they don't go together. So Pete will be missed this year. That big swing will undoubtedly be missed this year. But what they did gain was more balance, I think, just in the lineup specifically. Things you talked about, Toria, putting the ball in play. Bo Bichette can do that. Jorge Polanco can do that. And then they bring in Luis Robert Jr., who's someone who's maybe less talked about, who can hit the ball out of the ballpark. They just have to get him healthy to do that. So, but they at different spots in the order, the batting order, they aren't one-dimensional. And talking to some Mets people, they felt like they were one-dimensional. Boom or bust, power only, and we felt that, right? Second and third, or bases loaded, and they don't get anything out of it. You go, what? How did that happen? Just put the ball in play, and I think they have a little bit more of that, but there's a cost to that. As Buck Showalter used to tell me, you got to pay the piper, and the Mets paid the piper for that decision.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to speak to any of the new guys, get to know them? Any favorites of yours so far?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I like Marcus Semien, who's going to be the second baseman this year. He's a true professional. It's a very cliche thing for us to say, but a true professional, the kind of guy that you want to rally around, and you just enjoy the way he puts the Mets uniform on, and he's very happy to represent the team. And I kind of like that about Marcus. I think Bo's a sweet kid, a sweeter kid than I thought he was going to be. Not that I thought he was this big tough guy, but he's just a nice kid, enjoys the game. Jorge Polanco is a very quiet guy. So we'll see how he handles the bright lights of New York and first base, because it's not a quiet city that he's going to play in. And then the joy of Freddie Peralta and the pitching staff, who's now one of the starting pitchers. He's going to challenge Tyrone Taylor and Francisco Lindor for the biggest, brightest smile in the dugout. But I joke with him. I went up, he had this big smile, and I go, Freddie, you look like you're in a terrible mood. And he's so gullible. No. Do I look like that? So, very. I do enjoy the pieces that are here. Luis Robert Jr., another quiet guy. I don't know how much personality we're going to get from him, but it's certainly a lot of mix of good guys.
There was an interview the other day with that Michelle Margot did with Semien, and it was really good to hear how he handled himself and how he spoke, and that professionalism that you mentioned really came through. So it's I think it is more that they focused on the collective, and that's very clear. I mean, I wince a little bit anytime anyone mentions Luis Robert Jr. because he's likely to play in my guy Ty's position. That makes me cry because I worry for how much opportunity we're going to get to see Tyrone this year and his big smile. I just love him because similar to what you said, he's kind of one for me. He's underrated, and he just kind of gets on and does his job. And again, defensively, he makes some incredible plays. So he doesn't necessarily do it with the bat, but defensively he is very good. I mean, he's actually great to have as a bench guy. Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to bring, Tyrone Taylor on with his excellent defense.
Gold glove level
Towards
defense.
the end.
Exactly.
Exactly. Towards the end of a game, right? When it's a tight game.
Mhm.
So that's it's kind of good, but I'm not going to see. It's not quite as bad as when we lost Beta. So then I lost my Beta because I loved the two of them together.
Yeah.
No more Beta days. But I just hope that Tyrone sticks around for a bit.
Yeah, I think he will. I think when they traded for him, it was from Milwaukee. Adrian Hauser was the big starting pitcher, plus Tyrone Taylor, and then Hauser didn't really work out, and some Mets people said it was always the Tyrone Taylor trade. We just had to, grab Adrian Hauser. So they love Tyrone. I don't think he's going anywhere because I'm with you, Toria. He provides so much defensively.
Yeah, and we have had a distinct lack of spring training coverage, but let's not get into that. But you have been around for some of it. You've been around camp and you've been around the guys. Have you noticed anything new that they seem to be working on specifically, or anything different, or anything different in the vibe amongst the guys?
So the vibe is positive. I think it's a lot of with all the new faces. Each guy is very good, but each guy is going, okay, I've never been to this place before. I don't know where to park my car, my kids taken care of, and the Airbnb and those kind of things. Everyone's so new to that. So as far as the culture goes, I think it's exciting, but it's going to take a little bit for everybody to just simply build chemistry. That's natural. Any walk of life and workspace, same thing.
Yeah.
But I think on the field, what I've noticed more is the new bench coach, this guy Kai Correa. He's been working with base running, and I've noticed it in the first few games is the Mets are going to be a very aggressive base running team. So you've got your boring things, right, for us Americans, which is good defense and base running, less on the home run side. There'll be a lot of home runs, but base running, they're going to first and third. They're going to run the guy at first base, try to draw a throw, and then maybe sprint the guy home from third base. Double steal stuff. It was apparent to me. I was watching drills. They do all sorts of drills, and then seeing it in the game, how aggressive they were in those situations. I said to Pat McCarthy, it's like they're going to be doing this a lot this year. So just be ready for those kind of things. And I think that's good because those little things they were not good at, I think they're going to be fundamentally sound, which may be boring, but it will translate into successful wins, in my opinion.
I love a good double steal, though. It does. It adds something. It shows a bit of something. It's a bit of passion. It's like we want this.
Yeah.
Well, Tracey, that's when I get coffee, or you go to the bar or the pub in here, and people go, "Where's Alonso? They're not going to be able to do anything this year." I say, "Well, they're going to run the bases well." Most people would say, "Get out of my face," because it's not as sexy as the home run that Pete Alonso brings. But it'll be much more of a complete team than, I guess we mentioned, the one-dimensional factor. And I'm excited, like you are, for that.
You got to remember that we're a nation that applauds draws.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that as you were talking about that. Football, you love a great, 0-0. Oh, wow, what a great game we played.
Yeah,
I have been at plenty of very, very entertaining 0-0s, and to try and, I think it's getting a little easier now. There's more, football presence in the US, but early days, trying to impress on people that actually a 0-0 game can be really entertaining, just even without a goal.
Yes.
There's normally good reason for there not being a goal.
That is the other extreme, but I'm with you. You would appreciate it, yes.
So with spring this year comes also the World Baseball Classic. Today is going to be a bit of a weird one, seeing Vientos against the Mets.
So strange.
Any thoughts on the World Baseball Classic as a tournament? Any predictions for it at all?
Yeah, I love it. I think most baseball fans do. There's, of course, a team from Great Britain that is participating as well, which is, I love that. I love, I think I take for granted that, my previous generations or my dad's generation, they didn't really, they don't have this kind of thing where you You're facing great teams from Japan and Korea, and seeing how good they are, and then the national pride. So I love it, but you hold your breath, right? With Edwin Diaz's injury, very Metsian, right? To just feel the pain. So, Nolan McLean, who's going to pitch, apparently has been dealing with vertigo, which is, you're going, that's not great, but maybe he'll pitch less and maybe he'll be healthy. So you just go through this emotional roller coaster as a fan, which I do, but you're hoping for just good baseball, and I think we're going to get that. I think we're definitely going to get that. I don't know what the prediction's going to be. I mean, Team USA, they're playing their first exhibition today. They're stacked in a way that they've never been stacked before. And I think the way that Japan beat them last time, I think the Team USA is going to say, okay, we got more guys now. We're going to try to win this thing. A little bit of this is our sport kind of pride too. But it's a great tournament.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about 1749, but okay.
Yeah.
You keep saying it. It's fine. It's fine.
We'll let you believe that.
I mean, as far as the US team goes, I remember, I'm pretty sure Paul Skeens was like the first guy that was announced officially on that team, because they've got DeRosa managing. I mean, like, I can't wait to see him in like, his energy is just going to be, I can't imagine how he's going to manage in that situation. And it started with Paul Skeens, and then you're just like, what is going on? Because it was just like reveal after reveal after reveal, and it's like, how are these guys being allowed to go? I mean, it's great. I think it's wonderful that they're being allowed to play. I mean, as things stand, and I'm still not counting my chickens just yet, but we have Jazz Chisholm playing for us. Now, he was meant to play for us in 23, and it didn't work out. It was, last minute. I don't know if it was insurance or the team or whatever, but he couldn't come. And we did well without him. And we've got obviously our King Harry Ford, who I'm really excited to see.
They're both co-captains. It's been announced today that they are the co-captains for Team GB.
So I'm really excited, and we've got a few really strong guys, and given our performance last time, that was perfectly I don't want to say adequate, it's the wrong word, but it was impressive for our standards.
I think we did better than people expected us to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We did. I think we caused a few raised eyebrows. So I'm excited for that. I think it'll be interesting to see if they get the energy that they did last time. I mean, in the ballparks in general, because it was crazy. I think it needs that to make the tournament as successful as they would hope it will be. It's going to be so much fun. And let's just hope for no injuries, because the Mets have got so many players out playing for various teams.
I think it's 17 at last check. It was tied for the most, or right there with the most, being of any major league team being represented on WBC rosters. So a lot of cooks in the kitchen there. Hopefully nobody burns their hands. Everybody's okay.
And
we get a good tournament.
You may see some British guys out there wearing dresses in the crowds.
Love it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully, I think last time I remember Great Britain's uniforms were a little dicey. We kind of got them.
I'm glad that's what we were remembered for. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're white this year as a base colour. So we shall see. We shall see what happens.
Let's just hope we don't have any lettering falling off and things like last time, because that was not great.
No, it wasn't. But I think things are better this year.
I think they are. And I think because of our success last time and the fact that we got auto qualification for this time, they knew it was coming, like from the end of the tournament in 23, right? So there's been time for them to build towards it. So it's cool. It's cool. So how about a look forward to 2026? I mean, given all of the changes, given all the new faces, but I'm talking about the coaching staff as much as the playing staff, because we can't underestimate what an impact that's going to have. Potentially, it's a whole new crew of people that have got to learn to work together, have got to try and implement their own ideas and their thoughts. What does success look like this year?
Yeah, it's another good question. Because as much as you bring in new hitting coaches, that means hitting philosophies change. That means tweaks to swings change. And if you know baseball players and hitters, even those who are in the Hall of Fame still can't figure out how to get out of a slump when it's time sometimes. So I do wonder what that looks like if it is, because pitching is so far ahead. Just on this topic, pitching is so far ahead of hitting, is that I do wonder, in a good way maybe, what kind of adjustments we're going to see from the lineup with Jeff Albert, who's the new director of hitting, and Troy Snitker. Those are two new guys that seem to know each other from past stops with Houston and St. Louis. So I hope they're on the same page, and it's just a matter of communicating that, because Jeremy Barnes and Eric Chavez have been there for a couple of years. So I'm excited to see what that is, but you don't know what you're going to get with new ways of implementing something. So I do, because of the lack of chemistry with the guys, I do feel like maybe it gets off to a slower start than it seems. But baseball's not like basketball where you're running plays and moving as one. It is important. You can coexist without being so intertwined and everybody on the same page. But it might be a little bit of a slower start for some of the guys to get acquainted to New York for the first time. Bo Bichette, Marcus Semien, Luis Robert, right? Everybody's brought in to be the savior of this and that. I think it's good to have multiple people like that instead of one or two that you're putting all this responsibility on. So we'll see how that's handled, because amongst the coaching staff that is new, I mean, Carlos Mendoza's back. I've really liked Mendy. I think he's been a terrific communicator. I hope he doesn't have a roller coaster season like the two that we've seen so far. So I believe in him, but they're going to have to prove it this year, because even though everyone's getting comfortable and new, there's always pressure. And is Carlos on the hot seat? I think he might be a little bit. I think he'd tell you he is, but he likes that pressure, and I hope that that makes him succeed.
And I think maybe the experience of the last couple of years will play into that, because they were so close to being mirror opposites of each other. So they've got a really good breadth of information to go back to and say, okay, well, what worked? Why did this work so well in the first half last year? Why did it work so well in the second half of the year before? Was it because we were doing the same things at the start of last year as we were doing at the end? Did we change something mid-season? Was it just the injuries? I'm sure obviously they will have been through all of these scenarios, and that's why they came up with the plan that they did when it came to recruitment. We always said, we collectively, our group said that we trust the process. At least I can speak for our group. We said, Brandon was obviously kind of the first domino to fall. We said when that started happening, that we needed to kind of trust the process, trust in David Stearns, know that they will have been through everything with a fine-tooth comb, and they'd have identified, which he fairly quickly came out and said they had been through that exercise. That's where run prevention came in
many times.
And so I think that we're going to be looking at that. Ultimately, whoever is wearing the Mets uniform on opening day, we just have to. We can't be, but you're not Pete. People will be, and that's a shame. And I think that I wonder how much you think that might play into things as well, because not only are they coming into a new team, they're effectively filling large shoes. I mean, who do you have pegged as opening day first base?
Yeah, so just on that subject, I mean, you're right. I think that, first of all, people hate change in any walk of life, anywhere on earth, especially in something that is so emotional, right? People that we trust, that are now someone above is telling us that, well, they're not good, they're not helping us. There's just been a lot of emotional turmoil this off season, so there will be a lot of for fans, buyer's remorse, even though they didn't personally go out and buy some of these
Yeah.
players. But yeah, I think Jorge Polanco will play first base. What has been a little concerning for me is that it's when we're filming this, it's early March, and he hasn't played first base in a live game at the main stadium yet. He's been working on things in the backfield, so we're coming on a couple weeks till the start of the season, so that's a little bit sketchy. But I think that because these guys are all there's so many new guys instead, like I said, one or two, that if there's nobody here, the clubhouse is so different. So, well, the guys last year, you guys didn't win anything. Well, I wasn't here, and a lot of people can say that. So they're building something new, and that takes time. And for the fans, I feel it. I mean, I don't know if the teams that just say football on your side, that have you had a situation, or is it often happen where 5 guys are out the door and 5 new guys come in, and that's
Yeah.
normal? I think it's
It
kind
is
of a shock.
yeah.
It
It
is
is
normal.
more
So
normal.
for you, you're thinking, okay, they're just changing it up, but
yeah, I guess the difference though would be that a team like the Mets wouldn't be seen as a selling team, so you wouldn't.
Sure.
You might lose 5, 6, 7 even players in one window, but you wouldn't necessarily lose the players that are the caliber of those that we've lost this time. So we're kind of very much used to merry-go-rounds. We don't necessarily get we all have favorite players, but we don't necessarily get as attached to them. We have 2 trading windows every season. Your favorite player can go in any one of those, especially if you're a lower league club. You've only got teams, at the top of the Premier League that can be pretty comfortable with keeping their stars. It's not, you don't really have those star players, and you would normally have a better chance of keeping hold of them.
So you have much thicker skin than baseball fans in America, a little bit. Much thicker skin.
Yeah, and there's no sort of face of the franchise type
Interesting.
thing. It's very different in that regard.
Well, I wonder too, because for instance, if a player comes up, they're under team control for 5 or 6 years. I mean, how often, without naming any names, have you kind of said, we're stuck? Knowing basebal, they don't leave for very often. Like, oh, we're stuck with this person for 6 years.
Yeah, a few times.
We're just used to that. We're just used to that.
Yeah.
But I think something had to change. We were getting the same sort of results year in, year out with the same core of players. We've just gone like from one extreme to another and got rid of what could be considered the heart of the team, and hopefully got a new heart.
Yes. I think David Peterson is the longest tenured Met now. So when he was coming up, he was new. Now he's been around for a while. But yeah, it's a new. That's why you're kind of rooting for the colors in the beginning until everybody sorts themselves out and you find new players to love. But I think that with this group, you'll find it very quickly. They'll be more athletic. It's just a different philosophy I think a philosophy that David Stearns wanted to build in the beginning when they went to the NLCS in 2024. That might have been not in his sights, and so he had to postpone what he wanted to do last year. And now that last year ended and fell on its face, now you can make your changes that you
want. So you're speaking about new faces. Who do you think is the next one to watch that might be in St. Lucie as a young up and coming player that's not made it to the bigs yet? Who's the next one to watch, do you think?
Yeah, so the name that is the most immediate is Carson Benj, who is potentially going to start the season in right field. He is nuts in a good way. He has the mental game figured out, which is the hardest part. I'm a child of the minor leagues myself, and so I've come up. When you're in the minor leagues, you talk about all these prospects and players being great, and then they get to the major leagues, and it just doesn't translate right away. Talent is there. What changed? For a lot of guys that don't see success consistently early, first of all, it's very hard, but it's what's up here that, like Nolan McLean had success because up here he's rock solid. And I think Carson Benj is cut from the same cloth. Lefty hitter, puts the ball in play, uses his speed, incredibly athletic in the outfield, does a lot of great things. I think he's someone that you can get excited for. And I'll add another one to that that's maybe a step behind him, maybe a year behind is AJ Ewing. Same idea.
Yeah.
Lefty, incredibly athletic, and that's the kind of guys, the types of players that they want, especially in the outfield, is the ones that can go and get the ball. Because if you can make the catch in the gap on the run, you just took away a base hit. You just took away a base runner, and that's a potential run. So those little things that add up over 162 will certainly help. But Carson Bench, it's a chance to make the team this year, which is very exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot of chips already around Ewing as well.
Yeah, definitely. And he's kind of a double A level, so just maybe he'd be a late season call up probably just with his trajectory, but I think he's really impressed a lot of people.
Have you had a chance to meet Jonathan Craman yet, the new bench coach for the St. Lucie Mets, who's a Brit?
I have not. No.
We're taking over.
Well, I know the manager very well, Luis Rivera. I had him in Brooklyn, so I will have to ask him how that's going. I didn't know that. That's congratulations. It's very cool.
Yeah, he manages, I think, the GB under 21s as well.
Okay.
So he's legit.
And the Dodgers are owning the Japan on the West Coast, tapping into that market, and now you have the Mets. Little by little, we're going after the other coast. We're going after England.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, bring it on. We want more.
That's very cool.
It is
very cool.
My husband has a question for you, actually.
Yes.
He would like to know what you think would be an acceptable finish for the Mets in 2026. Would it be playoffs? Would it be finishing higher in the division? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the thing you shoot for is, I mean, to me, if they have to make the playoffs, and I think they will make the playoffs. I mean, even last year, as bad as it came down to the last day. It's not going to come down to the last day this year. I don't think so. I think they're a no doubt playoff team. I'd like to see them win the division because, they've only won the division twice this century, and the folks that just went out the door never won the division. So new core, it's very hard to do that because the Phillies are the Phillies and the Braves will be back and better. But if you could start to chisel away at being the team in the division, that's where you want to stay and be. I hate to say, I mean, I hear it all the time. I hate when teams say, well, the playoffs, once you get in, it's a crapshoot. And that's kind of true because there are so many teams now that get in. But I think a deep run is important, at least past that first round. I think to me is always a success, but it takes a long time to get there. There's a lot of, as we know, twists and turns over 162. We got our heart broken and we got excited and people will get hurt. I know I don't want it to happen, but it's, it'll happen.
Yeah,
Trades will be made. So, but I do think there's no doubt that they make the playoffs this year. It'd be a shocking disappointment if they do not make the playoffs this year.
I feel like there's not as much as I would expect being talked about our pitching staff as well this year. Last year, it seemed that the focus was all on the pitching staff and our starting rotation. I think obviously there's been the fanfare around Freddie coming in, but it's kind of been a bit quieter. And I think that's probably because we still don't know what to expect from Manaea this year. We don't know what to expect from Senga this year. And I think they're kind of almost intentionally kind of keeping that all very quiet. What are your feelings on how big a role they're going to play?
So I'm with you going just on paper. The pitching staff, I think, even with Freddie Peralta, is still okay. It's fine. But I think the thing that we don't see is that's where the defensive part comes in. That's where the good defense behind whoever is on the mound is helpful. And I say that because my first year was in 2023, and the Mets were playing the Brewers, who came to Citi Field, obviously being run by David Stearns now. And you look at the lineup and you look at the pitcher and you go, this guy is pitching that well. Who are these guys that they're playing? The Brewers don't have any money. They have to build it from the ground up. Not a lot of household names. And they had played a great series. They had a great run. They finished, first in the division because they played great defense behind whoever was pitching and made that pitcher so much better. So I'm hoping that those things kind of help because Freddie Peralta is terrific. Nolan McLean's terrific, but it's his first full year, right? There are going to be growing pains, and you can go down each and every one on that list and go, yeah, but, and that does make me a little nervous. But the fact that it's a long list that is deep with a lot of names is better than a short list with a lot of question marks.
Yeah, that's true. Let's hope we have a good, healthy Davy Peterson as well, and that makes a difference.
I do think the Senga one piece is a unique one. I think he can be better than Freddie Peralta if he's at his best. But I think my pick this year is Sean Manaea to have a terrific start to finish year. He's such an infectious personality in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And then
He's
I'm watching
lovely.
the other day. He's spring training of bigger clubhouse because the young guys are in big league camp, and in the middle of the clubhouse are the couches, and they all sit and hang out, and play cards, and they're playing chess, and all the little young pitchers are playing chess with Sean Manaea. And I thought that was great. He's just a young leader.
So wholesome.
And but I think he was hurt early last year, and so you missed him playing and you missed his presence. And I think this year with him back will be a huge lift.
Yeah, we noticed at the London series his personality and his presence, and like you say, it has been missed, definitely.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And that London series, I always say, that changed the trajectory of the season. We just needed a good trip to England to flip it all, and that's where it flipped.
See, you just need our spritz.
That's it. That's right.
We say it all the time. We always go back to the London series.
Yeah,
we're responsible for that run. 100%. 100%.
Yes.
Pat McCarthy and his wife Emily, I just saw them in Florida, obviously doing the games.
Yeah.
They said, I think London's our favorite city. I think it's still our favorite because of that trip. They love it so much, and I'm right there with him.
It's a good city, although I have issue with Pat on his football team choice. I mean, it's a cute club. It's a cute club, but they knocked my team out of the cup the other week. So
I like that. Cute. It's kind of a cutting word. It's a cute club. Yes.
No, I actually do really like they are inoffensive. And actually, they are one of the few. I haven't been for a few years because my team have not been in that division. But they're one of the few teams that when I used to go regularly, they used to have a neutral part of the stand. That's how inoffensive they are. Like that never happens.
Very nice of them.
So here we have home and away, and it is very partisan. It can get pretty messy. At Fulham, they have a neutral area.
Because they do.
Sometimes I wish social media had a neutral area where we all just hang out over here and we don't have to pick a side all the time.
And of course, you and Pat are going to be spending even more. I mean, last year, Howie maybe traveled to like half a dozen road trips, perhaps. I know this year he said he's not doing any. So
unless we get to postseason, he did say that on our pod.
Never mind, unless.
No, sorry, when he said that in our podcast because we had him on fairly recently.
And so it's going to be boys out of school on the road. Wowzers.
Yeah, Howie is not doing any road at all this year except for regular season, except for Yankee Stadium, which is not very far at all. So it's a bigger change. I mean, we have felt like we go on most road trips anyway, and so we're trying not to burn down the radio booth when we go out. With Madge too, Chris Madgkowski. I know. He's keeping the kids in line, but yeah, I mean, just knowing how obviously this has been an amazing experience to get to know Howie, but knowing that at his age and the amount of preparation that he does, he still preps like it's Game 7 of the World Series, and we always joke, Howie, you could show up here at 6:55 and you do just fine. No one would care. No one would know. You're so good. But he puts so much effort, as we all do, into getting ready for the games that stuff tires you out and runs you down. So I get that. But as long as he doesn't have to throw 100 every day, but if he's throwing 96 with a little movement, every once in a while, he still has his fastball. So I just saw him in Florida. He's in great spirits behind those Florida sunglasses right now. So he's enjoying his life. And really his wife, Barbara, who is with him in New York during the season, he feels her pull, I'm going on a road trip. Okay. I'll be here.
Yeah.
Now he's into his 70s. So I get it.
How's his golf game coming along?
You're the second person in the last couple of weeks to ask me that. I don't know. And you can tell him this because he's too chicken to play with us. Because he doesn't think he's going to be very good. And I say, Howie, we all stink. We play all the time, Pat and myself. But we have not played with Howie Rose yet. That's on my bucket
Wow.
list here. I know. You
We
gotta
need to
tell
make
him.
that happen.
So
Yeah.
this
Let's
is you
go.
laying
Let's
down the
go.
gauntlet.
Yep. Put him on the spot.
Okay.
Yes. Let's do
Yep.
it.
Okay.
It'll be the first thing I say to him.
Please.
Come play golf with them. Yeah, I think, you know, anything that Howie needs to do to manage that load, and if it gets us another couple of years of home games with Howie, then let's take it.
I mean, I understand. I mean, I grew up listening to, you listen to certain voices and they're just part of you, right? They just hit you like, it's like your favorite band. They could sing any song. It could be the worst song in the world, but it's because coming out of their voice, it just hits you differently. And that's why I got into this, is because I hope, well, you know, event like it was so impactful for me. Maybe one day down the line, you do it long enough, people will feel the same way. And so, yeah, it's, you know, Pat and I are so happy to have the opportunity to start our, you know, grow our careers more and more. But
Of course.
it stinks to not have Howie doing as many games. But I tell him, listen, you're not going anywhere, right? You're not going anywhere. You're staying here with us in this booth. So as long as he could do that.
On that note, though, and we kind of touched on this last time we spoke. You do a fair bit with SNY, with doing Baseball Night in New York. You seem to enjoy that quite a bit. Is that something that you potentially see in your future as a more of a full-time permanent thing rather than a guest?
You know, I like, first of all, I love doing the play-by-play on radio. That's my favorite. I have not been asked to do any TV games, which is, I work for one company, they're another company. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. But, you know, when I go on SNY, I love getting involved and talking the game. But they always say, you know, whenever you have an off, if you're not doing a road trip, you know, come in and do the show. And I go, oh no, I do every single inning of every single game. They do. You do 162 games? I say, yeah. They go, okay, yeah. Don't come in on off days then. I said, no, I have to take my wife out to dinner every once in a while. But yeah, no, I enjoy TV for, you know, I get to put on a little makeup every once in a while and talk about baseball. But I'm very, just if I'm doing the game, if I'm doing play-by-play, that's my happy place. So, but in the meantime, you know, in the off season when there's no baseball, it's nice to go on and hang out with them.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to do the play-by-play on TV eventually?
Maybe. There's no. I'm not. When you meet me, you realize I'm not in any rush to get anywhere. I am very happy where I am. I love radio, especially too. I mean, they're two different art forms in a way.
Yeah.
You realize I'm asking this because I'm trying to protect our radio.
I see that. Yes.
Yes, we're protecting
and I want to
our
stay
interests.
too. I have everybody that's saying go to TV. No, I like it. I like it on radio because it is, you know, close your eyes, paint the picture. The words I pick, create the visual in your mind. And TV is a little bit, you know, the picture is already speaking for itself, and it's fun.
Yeah.
There's no doubt fun, but I think Dan Dickerson of the Tigers, who does radio, said it's like jazz. It's yours. You improvise. You do it the way you want on radio, and that's what I do love.
I love that.
I love the most. Yeah.
And can I just say, from a personal standpoint, I think you've improved so much from when you started to now. It's a really noticeable improvement, and we're so proud.
Oh, thank you very much. I know you guys are such avid listeners, and it's taken a second to learn the organization and the franchise and the moving parts, but so I've gotten more comfortable, and it's just, yeah. That's why I don't want to go anywhere. Toria is setting me off to TV. I like where I am. You know, I'm getting comfortable.
Good.
But maybe one day you'll earn a place on Toria's Wall of Fame.
Oh, you can't
back
see
there? Is that behind you there? Or?
Yeah, I mean, so there.
There's a Howie pic. There's a picture of Toria and Howie.
Very nice.
Because, you know, Howie has to be there, and Steve Cohen's next to him. Me and Trace with Steve.
Yeah,
went right to the top. I love it.
Just hanging out, you know, as you do, and then. Yeah, we don't need to go on to what's on the end. So there you go. The aspiration is to replace my picture on the end, because that's not so good. But it's there because it was donated and I need a space to fill. Yeah, there you go. One day, Keith, you could be on my shelf. in a big frame.
I would appreciate that.
I think
That-
you're actually on my thing there. I think somewhere.
Her pin board,
I
yeah.
have to graduate though to the other side of the
Exactly.
room.
Madge is on there somewhere. Howie's on
Okay.
there.
Okay.
I
So
haven't got-
that should be your aspiration, you know.
It will be, yes, my goal. This is my poor wife's like, don't let anybody see my calendar. It's personal. I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. It's on there.
we can't.
It'll
we
be
can't.
on. It's my 2026 goal is to, do what I'm doing on the radio, but try to get on Toria's wall of fame.
Shelf. Yeah. Yeah.
Shelf.
Well, yeah, she's going to be there enough this season that you might have the opportunity.
Good.
I will be there.
Yeah.
I will be there. We
We do have,
DJ.
we have one more question.
Please.
So, as former president of the Belgian Jeff McNeil fan club, I'm looking for a new local hero now that Jeff has been traded. Do you think Brett Beattie is ready to take over the mantle? He's got the raw power and mauling hugs to be a star in Belgium.
I love that question. I love Brett Beattie. I was with Brett Beattie in the minor leagues for a long time when he had his baby fat at 19 years old, and I met him for the first time. I know his parents, great people. And I joke with him because, last year he's been a third baseman for a while, and then he got moved to second, and this year some first base and right field. And so I said hello to him in Florida. I said, Brett Beattie, the right fielder, the left fielder, the doctor, the proctologist, Brett Beattie, the veterinarian, Brett Beattie, the civil service officer. So I've loved this. I mean, the steps forward that he took last year are great. I think he's figured it out by figuring out what he needs to do to survive. And I think that as a holdover from the previous group, now that there's so many changes, I think Brett is an easy guy to attach yourself to, because I'm a New Yorker. I know how hard it is to when you come up and you fail, because Brett failed for a while, and he had such high expectations. And the fact that he stood in there, took all the heat, and kept moving forward, I think, especially New Yorkers can love a guy like that, because everybody feels that way too in their own life a little bit. Even though you're the one that was throwing stones and booing him, now you're loving him because he overcame your anger and negativity. But I think, not you guys specifically, but other people.
We would never. We're too polite.
No.
Yeah, but I think he's going to be so important this year. He's a couple of years ago, the Cubs had a guy, Ben Zobrist, who played a lot of different positions and helped them win the World Series. And I think Brett Beattie is going to be the Ben Zobrist of 2026, and hopefully somebody you can wrap your Belgian arms around.
Oh.
Is that okay? Cheeky enough?
Yeah. I think CJ would love that answer.
Okay. All right.
So I think that's all the questions we have for tonight. So thank you so much for your time, Keith.
Well, I appreciate it. You two are already in happy hour mode over there. I have to go pick up my daughter from daycare mode. So a couple hours here in the States, I will be in the similar mode. But it's so good to talk to you two. Truly, it's we talk to so many people on the radio, but to actually know people that we talk to, it means a lot, especially over there in the UK. Such devoted fans who are going to be more emotionally tough than American fans, seeing a lot of these players go. I think you guys have a head start this year. But Tracey and Toria, was so good to talk to you again.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Keith.
I'll see you in a few weeks.
Beautiful.